all, welcome to my channel. Today I am back with another Roald Dahl's book, and that is Revolting Rhymes. We have all heard of fairy tales, especially tales like Cindrella, Goldilocks and Three Bears, Jack and the Beanstalk, the Little Red Riding Hood. These have been our favorites, but they are all fairy tales. They do not have practical ending. And that's what Roald Dahl brings to this book. So I'm going to share few of the fairy tales and their lovely endings, which are now more acceptable and they're more realistic. So that makes it more worthy for you to read it to your child during the bedtime stories. Let's get started. Cindy, she cried, "Come, make a wish. Wish anything and have no doubt that I will make it come about." Cindy answered, "O kind fairy, this time I shall be more wary. No more prince, no more money. I have had my taste of honey. I am wishing for a decent man. They are hard to find. Do you think you can?" Within a minute, Cindrella was married to a lovely fellow, a simple jam maker by trade, who sold good homemade marmalade. Their house was filled with smiles and laughter, and they were happy ever after. One thing, when I discussed this with my friend, I realized that overall Cinderella's story itself was about being content with what you had. This ending gave it even more convincing ending that yes, we do not want people with wealth, we do not want people who are boastful about themselves, who are so proudy, but we want, and moreover, they do not even have their own rational mind to think about what's wrong and what's right. But we want a person with values to spend our lives with. I'll read out the second interesting ending of another tale for you. And this especially is interesting because when we want to convince our children to go and take a shower and they are lazy and they are like, nah, and I'll do it 5 minutes afterwards, and then that 5 minutes become 5 hours and you're frustrated that it's end of the day, it's 5 p.m. in the evening and they have still not taken a shower, and you're like, okay, I need to teach you a lesson. And this is how you teach them a lesson without even teaching them a lesson. So it's easy to follow. So the story is Jack and the Beanstalk. "I guess I'll have to take a wash if I'm going to climb this tree without the giant smelling me. In fact, a bath is my only hope." He rushed indoors and grabbed the soap. He scrubbed his body everywhere and even washed and rinsed his hair. He did his teeth, he blew his nose and went out smelling like a rose. Once more he climbed the mighty beam. The giant sat there, gross and obscene, muttering through his vicious teeth, muttering loud, "Right now I can't smell anyone." Jack waited till the giant slept. Then out along the boughs he crept and gathered so much gold, I swear. He was an instant millionaire. A bath, he said, does seem to pay. I'm going to have one every day. Now, although there is still an element of unrealistic hyperbole in this, exaggeration in this, but would we want to be around anyone who is smelly, who is too lazy enough to take a shower every day? It just takes 15 minutes, or if you're quick enough, it just takes 5 minutes. Would we want to be around someone like that? If not, then you are going to lose on a lot of your important deals when you do not take a shower, right? And that's what, as a parent, we want to convey to our children. This will help you to give you a platform to discuss this with your child. Because if they are kids, obviously, there will be no one to play with them. There will be no one to sit around them in class. There will be no one to do their homework together. They will have no friends to hang out with, and that will leave them alone only for one reason. It's not because they are bad, it's not because they don't know how to talk, it's not because they fight all the time, it's not because they lie, it's because they do not take a shower. And that is so simple to solve. So I think this will help you a lot. Our third poem. It's not the end though. And this one is my favorite poem for some reason. Because when I read this, I just fell in love with the character of Baby Bear. And yes, you've guessed it right. It is Goldilocks and Three Bears. So we all know, right, that when the mama bear prepares the food and it's too hot for them to eat, Papa Bear comes up with a solution. Let's go and take a walk. Now, first thing is that when the food is prepared and served to us, we do not leave it unattended and run away doing something else, because it shows a disrespect to food. Now, this is something very important that we want to teach our kids. So this book is going to help you for that. Moreover, there's the ending of this book is also going to make you think something. Let me share the bits with you. Just imagine how you would feel if you had cooked a lovely meal, delicious porridge, steaming hot, fresh coffee in the coffee pot, with maybe toast and marmalade, the table beautifully laid. One place for you, one for dad, and another for your little lad. And the dad cries, "Holy gosh! Oh, cripes! How hot this porridge is! Let's take a walk along the street until it's cool enough to eat." And then he would rationalize it by saying, "An early morning stroll is good enough for people on the whole. It makes your appetite improve. It also helps your bowels to move." No proper wife would dare to question such a sensible suggestion. Although the suggestion is right, to take a walk every day in the morning, it helps your appetite, it helps you as a whole. It gives you a clear mindset, a clear positivity, and everything. It gives you positivity and a lot other benefits. Just when the food is ready was wrong timing. It was enough to make anyone upset. But why would someone raise a voice if their aim is to avoid conflict, right? So, as usual, the mama bear doesn't say anything. When they are out of their house, Goldilocks enters. She eats food, she tastes food from every bowl, and because she likes the food, the temperature basically of the baby bear's food, she finishes, she goes and sleeps on the bed and everything like that. Roald Dahl has very beautifully highlighted 4 things that she did which were worthy for her to get punished. Whereas when we read this as kids, we were like, "Oh, thank God, she escaped safely." Which was wrong, right? Because we saw it from Goldilocks' perspective, that as if we are Goldilocks, we were hungry, we went into the house, had food, got some rest, and then we were about to get caught red-handed, and then we just ran away safely. Oh, thank God, thank God. But now we are looking at this poem from the perspective of the father, like the papa bear and the mama bear and the baby bear, like how they would feel as a family when something is prepared for their family and you come and just mess the whole thing up. So, crime number 1, she breaks and enters someone's place. Wrong. Crime number 2, she steals a bowl of porridge. Wrong. Third, she breaks a precious chair. Fourth, she smears each spotless sheet on the bed with filthy messes from her feet. So now we always tell our kids to enter the house, rub their shoes off, take them off, take their socks off, go and wash their feet first and foremost after entering the house, wash their hands, maybe if possible take a shower, and do not ever sleep on the bed with your socks and shoes on. This helps you teach those manners as well to your kids. Yes. And coming to the last poem, which is my favorite for some reason, which I'll tell you just now. And that is The Little Red Riding Hood. So, those who don't know, just in case, or have forgotten what the Little Red Riding Hood story is, it's about a little girl who takes food from her home to her grandmother's place, and her mother advises her to not talk to anyone, not stand in the middle of the road, or like get distracted looking at anything, any interesting thing, and just walk straight from one door to the other without stopping, without talking, without telling anyone where she's going. So, and of course we know, because it's a fairy tale, she does talk, she does get herself in trouble, and that is by the wolf. Okay, so this is a book for our kids to understand that there are wolves in sheepskin, human skin around us. Now, when we want our children to be safe, to not talk to people, to not give them where they're going or from where they're coming and so on, this comes as a very handy story to tell our children to be, and to teach them to be wise and careful enough. But the ending of this story is that Cindrella does get, the Red Riding Hood does get herself in trouble, and then her father saves her. Since the times are changing, I like the ending that Roald Dahl has written for this, and I'm reading it out to you. It's going to come as a shock though, so be prepared, please. So, the wolf enters the house, he does hunt on the grandma, and then he wears the grandma's clothes, and everything is, that's the scene we are at right now. What he does. He then sat himself in grandma's chair. In came the little girl in red. She stopped and she stared. And she said, "What great big ears you have, Grandma." The wolf replies, "All the better to hear you with." "What great big eyes you have, Grandma." "All the better to see you with." He sat there watching her and smiled. He thought, "I am going to eat this child." Compared with her old grandmama, she is going to taste like a caviar. The Little Red Riding Hood said, "But Grandma, what a lovely, great big furry coat you have on." "That's wrong," cried Wolf. "Have you forgotten to tell me what big teeth I've got?" "Ah, well, no matter what you say, I'm going to eat you anyway." The small girl smiles. One eyelid flickers. She whips a pistol from her knickers. She aims it at the creature's head, and bang, 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 she shoots him dead. A few weeks later, in the wood, I came across Miss Riding Hood. But what a change! No cloak of red, no silly hood upon her head. She said, "Hello, and do please note my lovely furry wolfskin coat." It says, as the time changes, you gotta change yourself. This is not the time for us to make our kids weak and always in need of help. This is the time for us to empower our kids, both the kids. And this book is a perfect pick for that. If you like reading books for your kids during the night time as bedtime stories, then I would recommend you to start with this book, because this gives you a lot of opportunities to talk with your child. Of course, it will help you put them to sleep as well, but this will make them think critically, think deeply, think widely. It's not just a cover to cover that once you finish the story, oh, Goldilocks is just about this, oh, Cinderella is just about this. No. It's about how that tale connects in today's times. And that will help you prepare your child as a more mature young adult in future. If you have liked this video, do hit the like button, comment what are your thoughts on this video and on this book, and please subscribe to my channel so that you get notified each time I come up with amazing book reviews. Also, share it with all parents, all teachers and all children. Thank you. Take care. Bye.